It was nearly midnight when Jack Reynolds slipped into the gleaming lobby of Everrise Tower, his old canvas work boots squeaking faintly against the marble floors. He clutched his ID badge with one hand and his daughter's well-worn backpack in the other. Lucy, barely 7, snoozed against his shoulder, her face buried in his hoodie. The night security guard gave him a quick glance, more out of curiosity than protocol. Jack offered a sheepish grin. "Single dad, no sitter. She'll..." "Be quiet." He wheeled his cleaning cart into the elevator and hit the button for the executive floor. Lucy stirred as the elevator climbed, blinking blearily. "Is this the castle?" she mumbled. Jack smiled, kissing her forehead. "Yeah, sweetheart. This is the castle." The doors opened with a soft ding. Jack wheeled into the silent, glossy halls, careful not to let Lucy's dangling sneakers knock over any priceless sculpture. She pointed sleepily at a wall of glass offices. "Do princesses work here?" "Something like that," he said, adjusting her on his back. What Jack didn't know was that the princess, CEO Aria Sterling, was working late, 2 floors up, reviewing budgets and preparing for a quarterly bloodbath with the board. She'd built Everrise from the ashes of a crumbled tech firm, fighting her way into a boys' club that never welcomed her. People called her cold, efficient, untouchable. Until she saw Jack in the security footage the next morning, cleaning, with one hand holding his daughter with the other, humming Springsteen to her as she slept beside a mop bucket. She paused the video and smiled. The office was nearly deserted. The usual bustle of high heels and barked orders had faded into the hush of after-hours silence. The executive floor was dim, lit only by wall sconces and the hum of city lights beyond the massive windows. A cleaning cart squeaked down the hallway. Jack, sleeves rolled up, earbuds in, was wiping fingerprints from a glass conference table. He hummed softly to himself. His phone stuck halfway out of his pocket, screen cracked. He didn't notice one of the corner offices was still lit. From inside the office, Aria sat at her desk, still in her heels, still in CEO mode. Her blazer was off, revealing a white silk blouse slightly creased from a long day. She rubbed her temples, glaring at a spreadsheet on her screen. She heard the faint hum of music outside. Curious, she got up and walked to her office door. Jack jumped when he saw her. "Sorry, I didn't know anyone was still working. I'll be out of your way in a sec," he said, pulling out his earbuds. "What were you listening to?" she asked. Jack hesitated. "Springsteen. The River. Probably not on the Everrise productivity playlist. My father used to play that when he'd drive me to school before he..." She paused. "You have old taste. Or just good taste." Aria leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, but less guarded than usual. "You always work this late?" "2 jobs. This is the quiet shift. I get peace and Everrise gets streak-free glass. Fair trade." She studied him closely. "You've been here a week and haven't made a single mistake since the lobby incident. I notice things. Mistakes cost people like me jobs. I can't afford them." "What did you do before cleaning?" "Construction. Framing, mostly. Got injured. Boss cut me loose after I couldn't climb for 6 weeks. Union said they'd fight it, but..." He shrugged. "I stopped waiting. Applied to whatever was hiring. This job called back." "And your daughter, Lucy?" "She thinks I work at a castle. I haven't had the heart to correct her." Aria walked back into her office and left the door open. She gestured slightly. "Come in. I won't bite." Jack wiped his hands and stepped inside. The view from her office was stunning. 30 stories. Above the city, everything looked clean, far away, simple. "You must feel like a god up here." "No. Gods don't have quarterly reports or board votes." "That looks like a battlefield," Jack said, gesturing to her whiteboard covered in strategy webs and half-erased formulas. "Sometimes it feels like one. You win some quarters, you bleed in others. Ever wish you could walk away from it?" She blinked, startled by the question. "Sometimes. But people like me, we don't walk away. We lean in harder. And people like you, we lean back, or we break. So we just try not to fall. She looked at him for a long moment. Funny how the ones who clean the floors have better balance than the ones who own the building. Thanks for the music, she said as he left. Anytime. It was pouring outside, relentless city rain. Neon signs from a dry cleaner flickered in the windows of a tiny corner diner. Inside, the warm glow of amber lights made everything feel older, cozier. Jack was wiping down tables, sleeves rolled up, apron stained. This was his second job. The bell above the door jingled. You always do this much cleaning, or am I just lucky? Aria stood at the entrance, jeans and a gray hoodie replacing her usual armor. What are you doing here? I Googled the best pie within walking distance. You work at the one that came up. You know this is the least CEO-approved place in a 5-mile radius, right? Good. I spend too much time in places where the napkins are folded like origami birds. The waitress arrived, wide-eyed. Aria ordered apple pie and coffee. Jack sat across from her, still unsure. So what's this really about, Aria? Curiosity? Pity? It's not pity. I just wanted to have a real conversation with someone who doesn't ask me for anything. And what if I asked you for something right now? Depends what it is. A night without boardrooms, no titles, just 2 people eating pie. Done. They talked. They laughed. Jack told stories about Lucy, about toothpaste murals and cardboard crowns. Aria talked about her mother and what it cost to build a name in a man's world, how lonely that climb had been. No one ever asks how I'm doing. They just want results. I don't want any of that. I know, that's what scares me. They didn't kiss, but their hands brushed. She didn't pull away. This was a terrible idea, she whispered. Yeah, but the pie's good. Morning light spilled into the Everrise boardroom. 12. Board members sat like judges around the polished table as Aria stood before them. One spoke. There's been talk, photos. You having late-night meetings with a janitor in your office, dinners in public. Rumors matter when you're a CEO. Jack's name hung in the air like a threat. Aria held her ground. Yes, there is something personal there, and I won't apologize for being a human being before being a CEO. You risk everything. Then it must be worth something. Jack sat on the couch at home, the news open on his cracked phone. CEO romance gate. He didn't move. Then, knock, knock. He opened the door. Aria stood there, hair wind-blown, soaked, breathless. They gave me a choice, she said. Step down quietly, or pretend you never existed. He stared. I told them I wouldn't build an empire, on lies, or walk away from the only real thing I've felt in years. Are you sure? No. She looked past him as Lucy ran into the room, pajama-clad. Hi, you're the castle lady. I guess I am. You sure about this? About me? I'm done making safe choices that leave me empty. You and Lucy, you're real, and I'm tired of building towers if there's no one to come home to. Jack took her hand. Okay then. They sat on a rooftop that night, wrapped in a blanket, sipping cocoa, watching the city glow. Behind them, the Everrise building shimmered in the distance. But this time, it didn't feel so far away. Love had found its place, in mop buckets, boardrooms, and between 2 hearts that never should have met but did. And that made all the difference.